Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel. You Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that look like the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. I want to give all praises to Barak, Yahawashi, Barak, Yahawashi. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone led me to this truth, and been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, and show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect, and to the hopeful elect. Lord, wouldn't we be part of that number? Lord, wouldn't this be edifying to those who fear in the name of the Lord and are striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities? His judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 5, it is not slack. 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 9, and is unto a ring. 2 Ezra chapter 5 verse 42. So the water for tuning in, everybody's coming across. Bahasham, Barak, Atham. I got a lesson that I wanted to do a land back on. Elder Yahawah and a lot of the brothers have been going over it, and also my elder, the one that's the head of the camp in OK-LA-Homa, and we were going over some history last night, so I want to kind of do the lesson, but I also want to tie in a couple other things to show some of the things they did to show that they hate us, man. So it's like, and hate means basically just to strongly dislike. In the Bible, that's what it means. It means like that, count them as an enemy. It doesn't mean that we're gonna go just make our own judgment, because the Lord said, revenge not ourselves. So we're not going out and just like, attacking Edomites, okay? But we're showing that they're the enemy and we're not to deal with them. You might, work with one or whatever, we all do. And let's say you have a good conversation with the Yaakov, okay, whatever. But at the end of the day, they're the enemy, okay? We don't fuck with them. Like, we're not gonna, be best friends with them and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not dealing with them, okay? Just like they didn't deal with us. They did all these things to so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, West Indian, Haitians, and now they got a problem that we don't like them for it. And the Bible shows that we have a right to be angry about it, but we don't have a right to avenge ourselves. The Lord's going to do that. So I'm going to get into this. Lord willing, this is edifying to the flock. And first, before I do this, the reason why I really, the Lord put the Spirit on me to deal with this, because I haven't dealt with it on my page before. I learned it a long time ago, and it was good to get it like a refresh of, this topic. So I want to go into it. And first, before we go into it, this is something important to all of us students, want to take heed to. Anybody who's really trying to come into the truth, because there's people out here that are starting to wake up. They need to know certain things before they come across them. To have a good understanding. So give me a sec. Okay. But first we're going to do this. This is 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 5. And it reads, but watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. So this is why we touch over some of the same things over and over and over again, all as a body, because this showing full proof that we're all on one accord. So this is another reason why I want to bring up this topic, because it's not something that I've dealt with, but I do understand it, and I have known about it. But I want to bring it up because before I do my daily lesson with the articles, I wanted to touch on this real fast. I don't want to make it too long. So, basically, IUIC, this other group, this other camp, they are going off trying to say basically, that in Deuteronomy 23 verse 7, well, first let's do this first, because I want to teach it exactly how I was taught. So 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 1. I also posted his lesson on the community board. I would advise you to go listen to it. I just like to do a land back, just in case nobody. So there's new people that come in might not know Elder Yahawah's page, but that's where I got it from. I'm gonna link it at the bottom, on the comment board. So hold on. Okay. Gotta go to chapter 2. Yeah. So, alright, it says, but there will be false prophets also among the people. 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 1. Even as there shall be false teachers among you who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord Yahawah that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by the reason of whom the way of the truth shall be evil spoken of. So you got this group, RUIC, they are going out and they're trying to say basically that we are not to strongly dislike the Edomites. Okay, using this scripture, but it's a clerical error. Okay, because sometimes the blue letter goes off, so you have to have teachers to show you these things. Okay, we know that the elders and apostles are the teachers that we're supposed to listen to. So Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 7. Just like I was saying earlier, just because we strongly dislike them, which means to hate them because they're the enemy, doesn't mean that we're going to go establish our own judgment. So when you first start, it says, he that is wounded in the stones or hath a private member cut off should not enter to the congregation of the Lord, right? Then it says, a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Okay? And that's talking about the ones who are not sons of Israel. Sons of Israel starts with the sons. There's also daughters, but the Lord deals with the sons and the men deal with the women. That's how it works. Okay? The Lord's not, and if he does deal with a woman, it's like, through dreams and whatnot, but it's always, the order for them to bring it to the man for them to break it down for them. Okay, everything comes from the man, which comes from Yahawashi. So, like it says, and it said also that Esau Edom was a bastard and not sons. Okay, that's what the Lord said he was. He's a thief and a vagabond. And basically, if you have any other, if your father is from any other the race, all the other 17 other races, if they're not of Israel, then if they have like a child, they have a woman, they have a child, that baby is considered a heathen. It's not an Israelite. Okay, it's off the father. So it says an Ammonite, which is so-called Japanese, a Moabite, so-called Chinese, they should not enter into the congregation of the Lord for the 10th generation. They can't ever get in. Okay, so we're going to go down to 7. It says, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in this land. But when you go in there and you look up that word Edomite, okay, it's Adomai. All right. And when you're looking in here, it says CH726. All right. Go there. It's Adamai, but really it was supposed to say Adawamia, okay? Adawamia, which means an Aramite or a Syrian, okay? Because that's why it says right here, Arwamia, right? A clerical error for H130. See, so it's an error. It's talking about a Syrian, okay? That's who it's talking about. It's talking about a Syrian, okay? It's talking about Syrians. So, and basically in Israel at that time, like if you were born outside of Israel, you were considered an outcast. But these people, these Syrians, basically were Abraham's nephews. So they were still Israelites, but they were worshiping like false gods. Okay, so they were basically Israel abhorred them. They strongly disliked them. Okay. Because they are worshiping false gods. Okay, but we're going to break it down a little bit more. Genesis 25, verse 20. And these are the Israelites basically that were scattered. They were scattered amongst the Egyptians and also the Syrians, okay? So, the Ra and the Da are similar, so that's how, there came across a clerical error, okay, for the most part, or they could have just been trying to tie in the Edomites, but, either way, we know that that's not so. So, when we go look over here, it says, and Isaac was 40 years old, Genesis chapter 25, verse 20, was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. Okay, so when you go look up that name Bethuel, okay. See, it says nephew of Abraham, son of Nahor, Milcah, father of Rebekah. See? So that's how we know that these people are also, the Lord's children. Okay? Because it's a nephew of Abraham. And we know that the blessing was promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's descendants. Okay? And him. So basically, when you look in the lineage of Adam, which came through, when it talks about Noah and Shem and Axphad, okay, Axphad was basically the chosen lineage, okay, that was going to bring forth this promised seed, okay, after Shem. After the flood. So Genesis chapter 11, verse 10. All right. It says, these are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Axphad 2 years after the flood. So that's how we know that Axphad was the one who was going to bring them in after Shem, because Shem basically later became the Hebrew Israelites. Okay? So when you go down to like 27, it says, now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. Okay? And Haran begat Lot. Okay? So that's showing that those, people, go back to the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, that's what it's showing us. And when you go look over here, we're gonna go back to Genesis chapter 28. Actually, I want to go back. Yeah, okay. So Genesis chapter 28, verse 5. This is showing that this is where they got their wives from. Bethuel and this is where Isaac and Jacob got their wives from. Okay, but let's go back a little bit. I want to go back. Hold on. I want to go back to the last scripture that I had right here. Genesis chapter 25, verse 20, right? Now we're going to look up this word Syrian. Okay. So look up this word Syrian. It's it's Automai, same one. See, Aramite or Aramean, okay, which means exalted. Syrian or Aramean, exalted, right? Same as 758 right here. Okay, Aram or Armenian or Arameans, exalted. See, Syrian or Aramean people. Grandson of Nahor, descendant of Asher. See? It's talking about the tribe of Asher, man. Okay? The fifth son of Shem. This is who they're talking about. They're not talking about Edomites. Okay? They're Israelites. Okay? So it was a clerical error somewhere in there that went off. Okay? Now I want to get over here and go back to Genesis chapter 28, verse 5, and we're going to read and show that Isaac got his wives from over there, and so did Jacob. Okay, that's where they got their wives. They got their wives in that region. Okay, that's why it refers to them as Syrians, because some of them were in Syria and some of them were in Egypt that were scattered. Actually, yeah, Genesis chapter 28, verse 5. Let's go over one chapter. This is where I want to be at. It's good to redo these lessons anyways, because they be taking down the elders and apostles pages and stuff all the time. So, hold on, why did I go to 26? I need to go to 28. Shalom, Yahawashi, Shalom, Barak. Right here, Genesis chapter 28, verse 5. Computer's going a little bit slow, bear with me. So it says, and Isaac sent away Jacob, verse 5, and he went to Padan Aram, to Laban, son of Bethuel, the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob and Esau's mother. See? When you look up that word Laban, I'll show you what that says. See? It says son of Bethuel, brother of Rebekah, the father of Leah and Rachel. So these are like, they look like foreign Israelites. Okay? Abraham's nephews. Okay, a wilderness encampment of the Israelites. See, they're Israelites. Okay, that's who they are. Okay, so when you go back, when you go to Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 17, you see that's where they got they wives from. We're gonna pull up just a little bit more, and I also want to tie it in to show the hatred that they had towards us and some of the things that they did to, basically, take us out. So this is 2 chapters later. So if it says not to strongly dislike these people, to hate Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, this is what he did right here. It says, remember what Amalek, this is Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 17. When you look up Amalek, that is the first descendants of Esau, which are today known as, the banking families, the Rothschilds, those people, okay? They're the first descendants who received the fatness of the earth, okay? And they've kept it in their family for all this time. So remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when ye were come forth out of Egypt, right? Last time we was trying to get out of Egypt, last time we got out of there, how he met thee by the way and smote the hindermost of thee, which is talking about women and children, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou was faint and weary, and he feared not the Most High. So not let alone, he doesn't fear the Most High. He did this to us, man. Therefore it shall be when the Lord thy power have given thee rest from all thine enemies round about in the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it. See, so this is what's going to happen to them, man. Okay? And this shows also that King David also put Edomites in slavery. And he wasn't going off. If he was going off, it would have showed somewhere where he got punished for it. He didn't get punished for this. So Chronicles chapter 18, verse 13. And it reads, and he put garrisons on Edom. Isn't that what they did to us? Yeah, that's what they did to us. And we're going to do it to them, but we're not going to do it. The Lord's going to do it. He's just going to use Israel to do it. Jacob. So, and he put garrisons on Edom, and all the Edomites became David's servants. Thus the Lord preserved David whithersoever he went. So this is how we know that it's not saying thou shalt not abhor Edomites, talking about Israelites, okay, that looked like Syrians or Egyptians. Okay, the foreign Israelites is what we call them today. So this is Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13. I want to pull this up. And it reads, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. So what's the problem with hating these motherfuckers? They're evil, okay? Well, you don't got no fear of the Lord if you don't hate evil. If you cool with evil, like ISU or IUIC is, they saying there's no problem being cool with them now. They trying to say they'll be in the kingdom, but they don't specifically tell what they're going to be doing. And they also were saying 2/3 was going to burn in hell forever. They really getting worse and worse and worse. Okay, and a lot of it is because they're scared, man. Okay, they're scared that the end is really here. Okay, but they can't see it, so they keep doing their bullshit. But it's because the Lord has turned them over to that retrograde spirit and has allowed Satan to basically toy with them, man. That's why they're bringing across some damnable heresies. So the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy, and the evil way. Who's the evil way from? From Satan. And who's Satan's counterparts? Who does he control? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And he also has control of the other 16 nations. But the so-called white man is his seed line, man. That's where he leads from. And the forward mouth do I hate. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. See, so it's understandable that we have a right to strongly dislike is what the Bible says, but that basically means hate. Like we look at them as an abomination. We don't want to deal with them. Okay, and it also says we have a right to be angry at them, but that doesn't mean that we go put judgment on them. That's the Lord's job. But we're supposed to be putting on the image of Yahawashi, and Yahawashi hated them too. Okay, they are counted as the enemy. They're the enemy. Okay, so this is Ephesians chapter 4 verse 26, and see, it says unity of the spirit. Okay, we can't all be as one in the body and not look at Esau, Edom as our enemies, man. Just like they hate us, we hate them, but our hate is different. We don't just lash out and start killing them and stuff. That's what they did to us. So, they got a problem with that. Whatever. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 26, be ye angry. See, we got a right to be angry about it. And sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, right? Neither give place to the devil. And that would be giving your place to the devil if you are taking vengeance in your own hands, okay? Because that's what they did, okay? And that's why they have to pay for what they did by getting put into slavery, man, okay? They have to pay for that, okay? Because they took it in their own hands, and what you do will be done unto you. So that's why the Lord says, don't take it in your own hands, because then I got to do the same thing to you. I got to come back and put you through that. So that's why we're not doing that, okay? So this is Psalms 103 or 101 verse 3. It says, I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. This is David talking. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. See? A froward heart shall depart from me. I will not know a wicked person. It even says that the Lord or the Most High, Yahawah, he will not be around wickedness. Okay? And that's how we are. We want to be away from wickedness too, man. And Job 9:24 says the earth is given to the hand of the wicked, man. So we know that these people is to not be trusted, and they're the enemy, man. That's what it means by we have a hatred of them, okay? But it doesn't mean that we just going off and, attacking them and whatnot, It says be as, wise as a serpent, humble as a dove. Okay, so we don't always show we don't always show that we're angry. Okay, even though in the spirit we're angry. Okay, about what happened. So another thing is basically the reason why also they didn't like these Syrians or Egyptians at the time that were actually still of Israel. They were idol worshippers. Okay, so they were detested. They didn't like them. They didn't want to be around them. Okay, and they were also born outside of Israel. If you're born outside of Israel, you're an outcast. So basically, you also still had particular members, though, in those regions who were scattered, who did believe, okay, who stuck to the Lord's traditions, who were scattered as well. So it was kind of like it is today. You got people, all the foreign Israelites scattered across the four corners of the earth. Some of them doing pagan worship and false idol worship, and then some of them are what? They coming back to the Lord and they're serving the Lord. That's how it was then. That's how it is now. It was just on a different scale at that time. It was just over there in the east before we were scattered across the four corners of the earth. There wasn't nobody dwelling in America, Babylon the Great at that time, or over there in the Western Hemisphere like that. So this is Psalms chapter 139 verse 21. It reads, do not I hate them, O Lord? See, that's David talking to the Lord, singing the song, right? That hate thee. See? So we hate whoever who hates Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Okay? And am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee? See? I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. And this is why we don't want to deal with nobody, who's not, serving Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Now you're going to have to deal with people that's not serving Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, of course. but we don't get a close connection with them, man. Even in our family, but our family is 2/3, so we just hate what they're doing. Okay, ultimately they're going to come back into the kingdom. Okay, and some of them we have a little bit more anger towards than others, depending on what they've done. But we hate all our enemies, man, in the spirit. That's just what it is. So, going back to the subject, you may work with a particular Edomite, and maybe y'all have a cool conversation or whatever. But at the end of the day, man, they are the enemy, man, and they cannot be trusted, man. They can't be trusted, because in the end, they're going to declare their wickedness. So this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 7. I only got a couple more precepts, and then I'm gonna get out of here and get my news articles ready. Lord willing, I can have them done before I go to the plantation. So Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 7. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness, man. That's what they do. At the end, at the last, they're gonna declare their wickedness, man. They're gonna show you why they can't be trusted and why we despise them, man. We don't rock with them, man. Okay, but like I said, be as wise as a serpent. So sometimes you have to, be cool with your adversary, so you can get around them. We're supposed to do our best to remain hidden, but when we do putting out these lessons, if we at work and stuff, we ain't coming out and just putting that out there. But when we doing these lessons, we let you know really what it is. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. See, it ain't going to be no way, it's not going to be able to be covered. This is Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 12, and this is going to show that he's going to use Israel to destroy him. So verse 12, for thus saith the Lord Yahawashi, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah, so-called Negroes, by taking vengeance, have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. See, that's what they did. Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahawashi, will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and I will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dan shall fall by the sword. Okay? And it talks about, and Joel will sell them off in slavery to the Sabaeans, man. So this is Luke chapter 1, verse 68. And it reads, blessed be the Lord, Yahawah of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people. Verse 69, and have raised up an horn, which is power, of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. And what did David do? He enslaved Edomites. Verse 70, and as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. See, the elect was there, man. Verse 71, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. So they hate us, man. They hate us. Okay, they're the enemy. Verse 72, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant. Okay, so now we're gonna go over here, and that's what we're doing. We completing these marriage vows right now. This is Psalms chapter 2, verse 2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying what? What are they saying? Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. Okay, so they tried to get rid of us, man. Okay, and we know in Psalms 83 it talks about all the enemies of Israel. It starts with Esau, Edom. Okay, but I want to, my elder showed me a couple things last night that I also want to add to this. Okay, some things that I learned. So basically, the time during World War II, Hitler basically, they wanted to set up Palestine. They wanted to go to Palestine and take it over, basically, to deceive the world, and they started calling themselves the Israelites, okay, which is Amalek. That's why they over there today, okay? And there's this book, okay, And this is why they wanted to take out Hitler, because he was teaching in his schools about how America Babylon the Great stole the precious jewels of the Lord in this book. Okay. Now I can't say exactly where it is, but when you go look at it, when you go down and look into it, it shows Jake in there, man. Okay? This book right here. This book right here. Okay? Now, if you want to go read it, you can, but it basically goes into war propaganda, stuff like that. But in there in that book, he was talking about the real Jews or the real Israelites are so-called Negroes, man. Now we know that it says that my heritage is a speckled bird, so we know it's not just the so-called Negroes. The tribe of Judah is just the leaders. Okay, that's why I said the Savior sprang out of the tribe of Judah. Okay, and it says that he will raise the tents of Judah first. Okay, so the rest of Israel won't magnify themselves over Judah. Okay, and this is all the reason why they did this stuff. Okay, but when you go over here, they had this other book, and this is part of them trying to magnify themselves and try to come against us, like I said in Psalms. So this is the protocols of the elders, because they made this group called the Zionists. That's what they were calling themselves. They were trying to say they were Israel, man. Okay, and this is part of that iconoclasm to deceive in the world, man. So right here, and this is like they had all types of stuff in this book, basically to take over the world. Okay, through depopulation, they had all this type of stuff in there. So when you read about man, let me see. Let me see. That ain't the one I'm looking for. Yeah, it's right here. But they did all types of stuff in this book. They had a plot to take over the world. It brought across the French Revolution, liberalism, socialism, communism, and basically anarchy to the Western European society. Okay, and this is to show that Russia, okay, was not a part of. It wasn't a part of the European Union either. Okay, because they had this thing called the Iron Curtain. Okay. And basically, it was a barrier, like a wall, separating the east of Europe from the west. Okay, and the east that's where Russia was, the Medes. Okay, so in the time of the Soviet Union, Western Europe basically was where NATO and EU was basically started. Okay, it's a guy named Winston Churchill. He started this barrier and made a pact with the NATO and EU, but Russia didn't join. That's why they're coming up with this BRICS nation to take down this place. Okay, they didn't join. But then the Cold War came and the Soviet Union dissolved. So they made a physical Iron Curtain to show the Soviet Union defeat. Okay, and after they did that, right after that, that's when they started coming up with this. Let me go look it up. I'm gonna show you where they finally recognized. Let me pull it up. It's yeah, right here. Okay. So once they did all that, right, like right after they did that, and they made that the protocols of the elders of Zion, this right here, okay, it was a fabricated text, beginning in 1933. There worked for some German teachers, whatnot, but basically it was basically a way for them to create their own religion, man. And right here, this is the beginning of the creation of the beast system, man. So, okay, and this is Psalms 83. This was this confederacy that they created to come against us. Okay, so look, President Harry S. Truman on May 14, 1948. David Ben-Gurion, the head of the Jewish agency, proclaimed the establishment of the State of Israel. President Harry S. Truman recognized the new nation on the same day. Okay, so this is these Edomites coming together against the Israelites, man. Okay, because when you look at this, see? 1 year later, after they made Israel a nation, that's when they made NATO, man. Right after that. Okay, that was the beginning of the start of the beast, man. Okay, and Russia wasn't getting down with that. That's why they're going against them right now. Okay, so this is just to, show a little bit of history on some of the things that they did to come against Israel, man. That's how we know we can't trust these people, man. Okay? And these are the same people that we've been up against this whole time, you had fascist Italy, you had also the Ammonites, which is the Japanese. Okay, they were imperialists in World War II, and they all came together in Psalms 83. They all came together to hide who Israel was, man. This is my last precept. And then I'm out. I made it a little bit too longer than what I wanted, but hey, I wanted to bring up that stuff and show a couple things that you can go take a look into. So Psalms chapter 83, it says, a song of Psalm or Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahawah. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they hate thee, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against my people. This crafty counsel is the NATO, man, and the EU. Okay? This beast system. This is that crafty counsel. To what? Cut us off from being a nation. By what? Getting us to take that sea hip and branding us, man. And they've said, come let us, and that's what they've been working on this whole time to get that ready. That's what the whole thing was for. And they have said, come let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And how can they do that? Make a whole bunch of AI robots and get rid of all the people, man. Okay? Get everybody to take that charagma so they can be able to alter your DNA. Okay? That's what they're doing it for. For they have consulted together with one consent. What did it say in Revelation 17:17? The Lord put it in their hearts to fulfill this will, man. And this is them back there getting it ready, doing it. They are confederate against these. See, the confederate nations, man. The tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites, which is the Arabians. Okay, but they're starting to, they're starting to turn on America, Babylon the Great, because it says they won't pinch tent there no more. Because it said the ten horns shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate. Of Moab, the so-called Chinese, see, they all came together, but now that what? They splitting up. And the Hagarenes, Gabal, and the Hagarenes and Gabal's like East Palestinian, and like Hagarenes is like, they're like so-called Africans. Okay, and Ammon is the so-called Japanese, and Amalek, the first descendants of Esau, the Rawchaas, man. Okay, and then the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. You see, so they all came together, man. And that's what they're doing right now. They all together. But what did the Lord say? He said, I will set He said, I will set Egyptian against Egyptian. So now you got, America, Babylon the Great versus what? Esau, the Esau Edomites, and then you have the Russian Esau Edoms. Okay, they're both going against each other, and everybody else is picking sides, man. And the Lord's gonna make the devil destroy himself. So that's all I wanted to come across. Lord willing, is edifying. I just want to do a land back on it because I've never dealt with it on my page, and Lord willing, knows edifying to somebody. So shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that neglect the other nations, scattered across the four corners of the earth. I want to give all praise to Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi, Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone led me to this truth, and been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, and show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect, and to the hopeful elect. Lord willing to be part of that number. Lord willing to be edifying to those who fear the name of the Lord and striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. This judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 5. It is not slack. 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 9 is unto a ring. 2 Peter chapter 5 verse 42. So to water for tuning in. Lord willing is edifying to the flock. Why abad babal? Lord willing to be able to exalt the name of Yahweh Shem Yahawashi yet another day. And Lord will not be able to get to some of these articles that the Lord put the Spirit on me to deal with before I go to the plantation. So shalom, y'all.